I would say for your first Kickstarter, fulfill it. Get it into market's hands, and make sure that the entire process is complete to earn the respect of all of your backers, as we were talking about before. After that, you can then consider maybe once you've funded a project, you can start teeing up the marketing for the project after, and maybe work on a cycle so that you can have perhaps one that's about to kickstart, one that's fulfilling, and one that's at the printers. But don't let it run away from you, because I'm sure a lot of people in here have heard of, for example, Colossal Games had their Kickstarters pulled recently and the funds taken away from them. I don't know if they're big enough probably to recover from that. That would sink a company like us instantly. So be abreast of not just taking the money from different Kickstarters, but also how's that going to make people feel? How's that going to make your backers feel? If you've got one game and you're like, yeah, we're going away and producing this. Also, can you give us money for this game as well? And what does that give for the customer experience? They want to know that you can deliver, and as long as you are delivering and you get that cycle going where you have multiple games under your belt or multiple reprints under your belt, then maybe you can start thinking about building up your pipeline, as it were. And then you can start thinking about advertising projects that you're going to work on next year, and because that will keep people excited as well. And there's a lot of discussion about this on the various Facebook groups for Kickstarters, people who run Kickstarters, which you should definitely get involved with, because there's loads of people who have an opinion on this and will weigh in on this kind of stuff. The communities are fantastic. It's incredible. Yeah. And in fact, I remember there's a community of Kickstarter retailers who back Kickstarters, which is a really valuable community to join as well, because they'll give you tips on what they're looking for as retailers from Kickstarter project creators. Because a lot of Kickstarter project creators will just be like, if I sell direct to the customer, that's the maximum cash that I can make, and if I sell to a retailer, they're going to get these huge discounts. That's no good to me. I just want to get the big money. Don't think about it like that. Think about what's important for the retailers, because once you get them on board, they're going to keep coming back. They're going to keep supporting you, and they're going to lift you towards getting that distribution chain. With the bigger companies like Asmodee. But going back to actually fulfilling your Kickstarters and keeping that pipeline going, people talk about your game in the communities on Board Game Geek or on Facebook or wherever it is. Talk about a year in advance and get people play testing it, and get P&P copies out there. That worked for Unbroken. Artem Safarov made 16,000 people backed his campaign because he got a P&P version of the game out there. So thousands of people, get the rules up there. People are precious about, if I post the rules online, someone's going to come and pinch my game. It's not going to happen.
It's too much work.
It's too much work. Yeah, and how do they know it's any good? They're busy working on their own games as well. So be as involved in the community as you can, and get feedback on your ideas. You can test something out, and if people are hooked in, you know that's got legs. If people are like, that sucks, and nobody responds to it, then maybe think about a different project as well. But yeah, definitely think about building your brand. Even, I hate to use a business term like that, but
I've got to jump in for 2 seconds on that, because obviously I've been laughing at Tristan for the last couple of minutes, and I need to explain why that is. So, obviously, it's one of those things where it's very different for different companies. And the reason I'm kind of laughing at it, and I think Tristan probably knows this, is that I'm releasing a game on Kickstarter in 3 weeks and 3 days, and I've still not announced anything about it, and no one knows anything about it. Like, the game's completely secret, they know it's coming, but there's absolutely nothing.
I should caveat this with, Frank already has a very established, wide pool of backers, so he's in a position to be able to afford to do experimental things.
That's the thing where it's kind of, it really, you see people doing different things. You'll see Tristan, advertise a year ahead. I've advertised the game for 2.5 years, it's not out yet. But equally, I wait for sometimes to do it in kind of a shorter period. And that's really about just understanding what works for you, understanding your situation, understanding the people and what you're trying to do. If you've got a following, you can do risky stuff. If you don't have a following, then just do it for years and years.
Get the word out, yeah.
I mean, we did our first one for about 2.5 years. We did live streams of us playing the prototypes many, many years ago and just building that up. And on the Facebook group thing, when you were saying about the retailer group, there are a wealth of Facebook groups. So one which I advise to everyone here, because I think we're in the UK. I forget sometimes when we're in our rooms what convention we're at. But there's a UK Kickstarter creators Facebook group. And if you're not in that, it's basically filled with every indie UK publisher who's around. I started with that group. You probably started fairly early with that group. And all of the kind of the UK guys you'll see here are in that group, and they will help you with everything you need to know.
And they'll point you to really important resources as well. So, like at UK Games Expo, there's a Playtest UK who will playtest your game to death and rinse it and give you really good feedback, good critical feedback, which is obviously a massively important part of the project. But sometimes it's not as easy to just find random strangers who are going to play your games. But if you can use a facility like that for people to, who aren't your friends and family, got nothing vested in your project, who are just going to take a cold, hard look at it and either pull it apart or reinforce how great it is, you'll get that honest perspective from places like the Kickstarter groups and like Playtest UK. Thank you.